Hello and Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we'll be solving the coordination and control MCQs from question number 1 to question number 10. So before we begin, आपने सुना होगा हर किसी से that you have to attempt topical past papers if you want to achieve an A star in any O-level subject. And this is quite true. Once you're done with the topic, once you've revised your topic, you should immediately do topical past papers to retain the information and also to build your concepts in depth. जब आप टॉपिकल पास्ट पेपर्स अटेम्प्ट करेंगे यू विल गेट टू नो वेयर यू स्टैंड इन दैट टॉपिक एंड ऑल्सो यू विल जस्ट इम्प्रूव अ लॉट कॉन्सेप्चुअली एंड ऑल्सो आपको वर्डिंग सही से यूज़ करनी आएंगी बिकॉज इन बायो यू नीड टू नो वेयर टू यूज़ वट वर्ड which terms should be used in what context. So once you attempt topical past papers, you're going to be perfect in that chapter. But that can only be possible if you practice it every day. So now I'll talk to you about how we make the students solve the topical past papers. So let's say आपके पास हमारे बायो के टॉपिकल पास्ट पेपर्स हैं और आपने कोऑर्डिनेशन एंड कंट्रोल के एमसीक्यू सॉल्व करने हैं. सो फर्स्टली आप वो चैप्टर खोलेंगे और उसके नीचे ही आपको क्यूआर कोड नज़र आएगा. आप उसको स्कैन करेंगे एंड यू विल बी हेडेड टू अ प्लेलिस्ट ऑन यूट्यूब. And let's say the questions range from 1 to 100 for coordination and control specifically. आपको 100 videos मिल जाएंगी which are with detailed explanations and concepts about coordination and control. So this is a great way to enhance your learning and this will take you to next level. क्योंकि आप खुद से भी solve कर रहे होंगे MCQs and once you get to know about further concepts या further किस तरह से आप अपने answers को enhance कर सकते हैं वो सब आपको हमारी video से आपको ये सब benefits मिल सकते हैं. So having said this all, let's move on to the questions. Question number 1. What is an example of a reflex act? Now you should know that reflex act जो होता है वो आपको pathway होता है that shows you the journey from stimulus to the last point which is the response. So stimulus for example यहाँ पे मैं iris muscle सारे options पे given है. So let's take the stimulus as bright light. That was detected by the receptors. अब जो impulses हैं that will travel from the sensory neuron to the CNS first, which is your central nervous system. अब CNS से यानी कि जो impulses आएंगी that is going to be taken towards motor neuron. But how is that possible? It is due to the relay neuron, which acts as a connecting neuron between sensory and motor neuron. जैसे relay race में आपने देखा होगा एक बंदा दूसरे बंदे को पास करता है and then वो भागता है. Similarly, relay neuron is the connecting source between the impulse transmission from sensory neuron to motor neuron. और जब motor neuron के पास impulses आ जाती हैं CNS वाली impulses, then it is taken to the effector organ and that produces a response. So the true example here आप देख सकते हैं कि सबसे पहले हर ऑप्शन में रेटिना गिवन है. वहाँ पे स्टिमुलस डिटेक्ट हुआ ब्राइट लाइट बिकॉज वहाँ पे रोड्स और कोन्स होती हैं विच आर फोटो रिसेप्टर्स. नाउ यू नो कि मोटर न्यूरॉन तो पहले आ ही नहीं सकता बिकॉज मोटर न्यूरॉन कम्स बिफोर द रिस्पॉन्स. तो आइडियली ए एंड बी ऑप्शंस के नॉट बी करेक्ट बट सी और डी में आप देख सकते हैं कि सेंसरी न्यूरॉन भी है लेकिन जो सेकेंड न्यूरॉन है दैट इज नॉट रिले इट इज मोटर न्यूरॉन. सो दैट इज इनकरेक्ट. Hence, D is the correct option. Question 2. Which structures cover the pupil at the front of a human eye? So number 1 is conjunctiva and number 2 is cornea. So conjunctiva जो होती है वो एक clear thin सी membrane होती है. If I zoom here, you can see that. It is a clear and thin membrane that covers the front surface of the eye and also the inner surface of the eyelids. And cornea is the transparent front part. This is the cornea. This is the front transparent part that covers the iris and the pupil. So the options that show conjunctiva and cornea is the option A. Question number 3. Diagram shows a vertical section through the human brain which structure controls balance and muscular coordination. That means when your all muscles are working together. So that is your cerebellum and that is the structure D. But what about the other structures? Let's have a look at them. So A is your medulla, and medulla is responsible to regulate respiratory and cardiovascular systems. So this was the medulla. This is your pituitary gland, this B. और finally C जो है आपका, that is the cerebrum, and it is responsible for reasoning, motor control, cognition, all those things. But the structure that is responsible for controlling balance and muscular coordination is this structure, D, the cerebellum. Question number 4. What is the role of adrenaline and where is it destroyed in the body? So, you know that adrenaline hormone is released in a flight or fight response. And the role of adrenaline is to convert the stored glycogen to glucose. So, it can be either C or D, A and B cannot be the options. Another reason is that glycerol is the part of the triglyceride molecule and it is a part of fat. So, adrenaline cannot directly convert it to glucose. So, A and B cannot be the options, only C and D. नाउ दोनों में लिखा हुआ है कि ग्लाइकोजन जो है वो ग्लूकोज में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है सो नाउ वी नीड टू सी वेयर इज इट डिस्ट्रॉयड दैट मीन्स आफ्टर इट हैज स्टिमुलेटेड a response after it has released energy during the fight or flight response it needs to be broken down so that there is overall homeostasis and balance in the body. So what happens is that like any other hormone it is metabolized and broken down in the liver. लिवर का सबसे बड़ा फंक्शन ये भी है दैट इट इज़ रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू प्ले अ रोल इन हार्मोन मेटाबॉलिज्म एंड डिटॉक्सिफिकेशन. बाद में वो चाहे थ्रू एक्सक्रीशन थ्रू यूरिन इट कैन बी removed out of your body, but to detoxify and metabolize it is a function of liver. And it is important to break it down and also to excrete it because it would help regulate its levels in the bloodstream. So that's why D is the answer. Question number 5. Which part of the skin has a major role in insulating the human body? It is the fatty tissue. Why? Because जब आपकी स्किन की लेयर होती है ना उसके नीचे एक और फैट की लेयर या एडिपोज टिश्यू होता है या फैटी टिश्यू होता है what it does is it prevents heat loss from the body. So it is insulating your human body. So option B is the right one. Why can't option A, C, and D be the right ones? Blood vessels do help insulate the body, लेकिन they do not play a major role because they are more importantly working on the blood flow towards the body according to the external and internal temperature. Hair follicles do help insulate the bodies, लेकिन ये ज़्यादातर animals में होती है because they have fur or more number of hair to prevent heat loss and also to insulate. But we're talking about human body, so hair follicles cannot be the right answer. Option D, sweat glands. Sweat glands and sweat production is not even related to insulating the human body, so it cannot be the answer. Question number 6. The diagram shows a section of the human brain. What are the numbered structures? So this is really easy. And number 1 is the cerebrum. This whole is the cerebrum जो कि आपके motor cognition इन चीज़ों में होता है. So that means A or B can be the option, C and D cannot be. The cerebellum is this part. और जो option 2 को cerebellum कह रही है that is only option A. Hypothalamus is this and this is your pituitary gland. So A is the correct option. Let's move towards question 7. The diagram shows the curvature of the lens in the person's eye. So curvature means कि आपका lens की जो ability to get round. The shape of the lens changes as the person watches two motorbikes go past at different speeds. So for example, if this is a person, if we just describe the situation और वो देख रहा है कि एक slow motorbike है because we have to compare the speeds because he said that it's at different speeds और एक है जो बहुत तेजी से गई है. So obviously the shape of the lens would change जब वो अपने पास गाड़ी को देखेगा जो slow थी और जो उससे दूर चली गई जो तेज थी ज़्यादा. Now, the next part of the statement says that during which period was a motorbike moving towards the person at the higher speed? Now, you have to make sure you read two keywords which are higher speed and moving towards the person. This is accommodation and that means कि जब आपकी तरफ कोई चीज़ आ रही होती है that means it is coming towards you, near you. So whenever it is that an object is approaching towards you, coming near you, the curvature of lens is going to become thick and more rounded. अगर पहले आपकी इस तरह फ्लैट था, it is going to become more rounded. And it is saying that at higher speed, यानी कि जल्दी से, तो सी और डी नहीं हो सकते ऑप्शंस. एक तो the reason is that they're curving really slow. But if something is approaching you with higher speed, that means obviously वो कम टाइम लेगी. So it can be either A or B. और curvature जो होगा वो ज़्यादा होगा because it is coming towards you. It is going to the lens is going to become more thick. That means it has to be A. It cannot be B because B में आप देख रहे हैं कि decrease हो रहा है curvature and that is wrong. That would happen if the object was moving away from you at higher speed. Then B could be the option. But right now it is A. Question number 8. Nerve impulses and neurons can travel 1. Away from the central nervous system, 2. Towards the central nervous system, 3. Within the central nervous system. In which direction do impulses in sensory and relay neurons travel? Now, in this question, the students can be quite confused, but the thing is that you have to just differentiate the statements that they've given you. आप बस उसको डिफरेंशिएट कर ले. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 1 मीन्स अवे फ्रॉम द CNS, 2 means towards the CNS, and 3 means within the CNS. And you have to just tell about the directions in which impulses travel in sensory and relay neurons. सेंसरी न्यूरॉन्स तो आपको पता है कि रिसेप्टर से इम्पल्सेस लाते हैं टूवर्ड्स CNS. So that means 2 is the right thing because 1 is away from the CNS, they don't do that, and 3 is within the CNS. That is for relay neurons. So the correct option can be from C or D. अब जब relay neurons की बात होती है, so they are found within the direction of impulses is within the CNS. That means D is the option. Sensory neuron is always towards the CNS. You should know that. Question number 9. On a hot day, how does the skin react to lower the internal temperature of the body? Now, it is necessary that if the external temperature is high, your body temperature does not get high as well because it can lead to overheating of the body. So, what mechanisms are necessary to maintain the internal body temperature? If we read the first word, arterioles constrict or arterioles dilate. आपको पता है कि constrict का मतलब होता है becoming narrow and dilate का मतलब होता है widening up. So now, even if you use your common sense, you would know that if the arterioles are constricted, it would conserve the heat inside them. And if the arterioles dilate, it is going to let heat escape out. जैसे आप एग्जांपल ले सकते हैं, इफ़ यू यूज़ अ थिन नैरो पाइप टू वाटर द प्लांट्स, द वाटर प्रेशर विल बी लो और कम पानी निकलता है. बट इफ़ यू यूज़ अ वाइडर पाइप दैट हैज़ अ वाइडर माउथ, तो ज़्यादा पानी निकलता है. सिमिलरली, इफ़ यू हैव the arterioles dilated or widened, then you can see that more heat loss जो है वो आपकी बॉडी से होगी. And that is necessary to lower the internal temperature and prevent overheating of the body. Next word you can see that either C or D can be the correct options. Next word is sweat production decreases or increases. So sweat production has to increase. That's because the water vapors would start coming on the skin surface और जब वो evaporation या vaporization से जो है वो remove होते from your body, then it leaves a cooling effect behind. That will lead to lowering the internal temperature. बिकॉज हीट एनर्जी तो एब्जॉर्ब हो गई ना, तो आपके पास एक कूलिंग इफेक्ट बचेगा एट दी एंड. एंड हेयर लाई फ्लैट अगेंस्ट द स्किन दैट इज सिमिलर फॉर बोथ. द हेयर्स कैन नॉट स्टैंड ऑन द स्किन, दे ओनली स्टैंड जब आपको हीट कंजर्व करनी होती है और इंसुलेशन प्रोवाइड करनी होती है एंड यू वांट टू मिनिमाइज द कॉन्टैक्ट विद द एयर. सो डी इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. Question number 10. The eye changes focus from looking at a wristwatch to looking at an aeroplane flying overhead. Which changes occur inside the eye? Now, this means the eye has changed focus from looking at a near object, which was your wristwatch, to looking at a distant object, which is the aeroplane. So, what changes occur inside the eye? Firstly, जो आपके shape of lens है, they do not get thicker. That means A and B options are simply ruled out, they get thinner. आप इस डायग्राम में भी देख सकते हैं कि ये एक डिस्टेंट ऑब्जेक्ट है और आपका जो लेंस है दैट इज थिनर और स्ट्रेच्ड आउट और फ्लैट. These are the words you can use. And the suspensory ligaments tighten up. That is because they have to keep the lens in that shape. They have to keep it stretched out and flat. And the eye does not have to do much work when there's a distant object. That is because light जब distant object से आ रही होती है, it is already organized in parallel. You can see. So they do not have to do much work. And ciliary muscles relax. And there is less refraction of rays. So keeping all these things in the mind, option D is the correct one. Because the suspensory ligaments tighten and the ciliary muscles relax. That's it for today's video. Today we attempted 10 MCQs from the Coordination and Control chapter, which is chapter number 14. So in the upcoming videos, you can see we'll attempt P2 topicals as well and also from other chapters. So stay tuned and make sure to subscribe our channel for more content like this. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.